a brand new school year. The nearest person to me is about 15 feet away, so I am going to take my mask off and practice good social distancing while what we're going to do tonight is talk a little bit about what to expect when your child comes back to school, whenever that might be. To begin with, we want to explain the difference in distance learning and virtual school. Rutherford County has been for a couple of years now, and that is a separate entity from us or from any other school in Rutherford County. If you go to that school, you transfer to that school. Distance learning is taught by our teachers. You will be on our class rolls. You are a central student, or your child's a central student. Your grades will be in Central Magnet. When things get better and you come back, you will be at Central Magnet. So I want to make sure everybody understands the difference there. You should be getting emails. If you're not getting emails from me or the school, you need to email me and let me check and figure out why. Sometimes certain systems, Comcast is one in particular, because we send so many emails at one time, it sees us as spam, and sometimes it will block us. But I would check that before you get with us. You also should have access to your Skyward account. So make sure you have that set up so you can see your child's grades during the year. And in Skyward, you can edit certain information like your email address. If your student is new to Rutherford County, has not been in Rutherford County schools before, they will eventually need to log into their system on campus, but we'll talk about that later. If your child is going to need a computer for distance learning, don't worry about it. You'll be able to check that out through us. There is a form to complete, and if you email me that you need it, we can arrange as school gets closer to have time for you to pick that up. We also will have a time for you to come in and pick up your books and all the other supplies. We will be sending out an email as school gets a little closer, explaining the procedure for all of that. I hate to say Tiger Hunt obviously will be canceled this year. Just have that many people in one place. Open house, we will still have it, but it will be virtual. We will do that 2 or 3 weeks into school this year so that we can settle down and the teachers will be a little more sure of what they're saying, but it will be virtual, so we will have an open house. Now, some of the changes. I'll start with the cafeteria. We would really appreciate when your child comes back, whenever that is, August, September, January, whenever they come back to school. We would like to try to eliminate as much cash as possible. If you would use the online system, that would be appreciated. If you send your child lunch, we would appreciate it being in disposable things where they can just throw it away at the end of the meal. The county has purchased scanners, and they're in the process of getting those installed. So your child will have a barcode, and they'll just scan their information instead of having to touch the keypad. Excuse me. If you're on free lunch or you want lunch while you're distance learning, our pickups will be Monday and Thursday, 9 to 10 in the back of the school. And you need to email Mr. Staples or let him know in some form or fashion by 7:30 on Monday that you're going to want the meals so he can have those ready for you. Now, once the real day, when students arrive on campus, we will use the same drop-off places we used last year. The middle school students will be dropped off on the east end, the high school students on the west end. We will have an additional doors open. We will, of course, mask will be worn on campus at all times. Yes, I know I'm not wearing one. I have it with me, but there's no one anywhere near me, so it should be pretty safe. But they will wear their mask. Middle school, as I said, we'll have when we come to school, the middle school will go to the gym. The high school, and this is a change, will go to the auditorium, and we will hold them there in a social distance until 7 or 8 minutes before the bell. This is the only way really we can control that. So they will be in one of 3 locations. They'll be in the gym, auditorium, or they can eat breakfast in the morning. And if they're not doing one of those things, we will have restrooms open, but we will ask the students not to congregate or stay too much around the restroom. If a student needs help from a teacher in the morning, that will still be available. They'll pick up a note the day before so we know where they're going. We will this year be changing our lunch plan a little bit. We will go to 5 lunches, which will allow us to spread the students out a little bit more. We have removed all clutter from the classroom so that the desks can be spread as far as they can. One of the big changes too is for the foreseeable future, we will be on an alternating block schedule. This will cut down the transition time in half. We will do odd on Monday, even on Tuesday, odd, even, and then alternate on Friday. So this will cut down the transition time a great deal. When students are released into the hallways, we will do it by a small group. We will do a third of the alphabet at a time, and this hopefully will also allow social distancing to a greater extent. The hallways, we will ask the students to stay on the right. They will be labeled depending on the right, whichever direction they're going. But as I said, we have decluttered the classrooms. We're in the process of decluttering all the classrooms. There was more clutter than I thought there might be. We will also be removing things, soft surfaces and things like that. We are not sharing supplies this year, so you may be asked to get a few more supplies, but if you need anything at all, let us know and we will help you take care of that, as always. Any need at all. So after each class, the county has been very good at planning supplies. They're going to use a substance called BioS. Our teachers will spray down the desk when your child leaves it, and it will kill all germs, viruses, everything else within 4 minutes. So we will disinfect the room between classes. We also will have the room arranged in a way where there's the maximum distance between chairs. Students will get a textbook where it's needed. Also, one thing we've asked, we sent out a survey asking to make sure we could do this, and it seems like we should have plenty. We will be getting a computer, whether yours or ours, for every child, and that way we will not share the computers during the day. We won't have to worry about disinfecting them because everyone will have their own. And there will be many things available for both distant and local learners. We will take grades. We will take attendance. Attendance will be a little different for distance learners. It will depend somewhat on you doing what we ask you and turning in your work. Once again, if you need anything at all, please let us know so that we can start getting that. We will have bathroom through the classes. We really don't want pastime. We want a child to leave one room, go straight to the next room. The teacher will be more flexible, allowing a child to go to the restroom. This will keep a mob from being in there at once. There will be no visitors allowed in the building unless it is something like an IEP, a 504, or something that we very well need to do. So we will do those. That's guest speakers. Didn't have many of those people anyway, former students. It will cut down on college visits, obviously. They're college recruiters. If you bring something, your child needs something they forgot, which happens quite often, there will be a table in the front lobby, and you will put the item there, put a Post-it on it with the child's name and grade level, and then we will get that after you leave and get it to your child. All water fountains will be off. We will have bottle fillers. We do have bottle fillers. So I do encourage you to send your child plastic bottle so they can keep some water for themselves. Please also put identifying marks on your child's water bottle. Believe it or not, they lose them. We will not have snack machines or the drink machines. that is another place of contamination. Lockers, we will allow your child to store things in their locker, but we are going to limit their access to one time a day to keep, once again, the contact down. So that will be different. And both traditional and distance learners will utilize Kidem, Teams, Zoom, and other online resources. Even if they're here, we will be doing some things in class if we need to work as a group or things like that. And then at the end of the day, we will release students in shifts again. We will ask them to leave campus as quickly as they possibly can. And we will have areas marked so they social distance while they're waiting for you. The biggest thing in all of this that we can ask of you is that you encourage your child to do what we ask them. If they maintain their social distance, wear their mask, everyone's going to be safe. If they keep bunching up, I do not want to spend the year separating students. They need to stay 6 feet from other people when they're coming down the hall. They need to social distance when they're waiting on their rides. They need to social distance when they get here. This is a serious time, and we take it very seriously. And we want a child to have a great school year. We know what it's like to not be here, and it was not a great deal of fun. So we really want to get back in school, and we need your help inside and outside of school, practicing good, safe, healthy things. If a student shows symptoms, we obviously will contact that parent immediately. We will isolate that student, and we will notify people who have contact with the child in case they need to isolate as well once we have the information. If you need to check out a child, that will be the same. You will come to attendance and check the child out, and we will get them for you. The library will be a little different. We will be checking out books virtually, and they will bring the book to you. When a child returns the book, we will quarantine that item for several days and also disinfect it before it's allowed to be checked out again. The library will not be open before or after school, so we will have to make other arrangements, but we think, and we will have a return box where your child can return the book without really coming in contact with anybody or touching anything. So we feel like we have a pretty good plan there. This is going to take all of us to make this work smoothly. We do look forward to your students being back. We miss them greatly. We will, as school gets closer, email you some more information on how to pick things up and things like that. As I'm sure you're aware of, the board is voting Tuesday night, I believe it's Tuesday night, 28th, to distance learn only. After that, we will have some more information, and we will be sending you out some more information about that. We do ask for your patience and grace. So anyway, some of the questions, yes, your children only go to the lockers a couple times a day anyway, so that should not be a problem. But that is a major concern for us. As we said, we went to 5 lunches. We will spread people out in the cafeteria on pretty days. Obviously, they can eat outside. They will also probably have to eat, some students will have to eat in the auditorium. Not the perfect solution, but one of the few solutions if we want to keep everyone apart. So anyway, that is going to happen. If looking for some of the questions, I don't know about central magnet face mask. The problem with having students go their first period in the morning is teachers have to be at their door 15 minutes before 8 o'clock by contract. Some of your students get here at 7:15, so there would be nobody to supervise. Some of our teachers have children, they have lives outside school. Nobody believes it, but they do. They have to drop their child off at other schools and things like that. So anyway, yes, when will all seniors be able to pick out lockers? They will go first. We don't know for sure yet when the best time for that is. We're still working on that. But they will always get to pick theirs out before everyone else as one of the few rewards for being a senior. Let's see, when sports and PE. Sports is still up in there a little bit. Well, they met yesterday and came out with some more guidelines. Our central office is, at the moment, we're going under those. We will always go under the central office guidelines, but that will be changing in the near future. I certainly hope we get sports. We should be really good in several this year, but we do want to keep everyone safe. PE is going to be a little different. The wellness part, we will probably start out with the health part of wellness. On good days when it's not miserably hot or raining, of course, we can go outside, socially distant, and spread out. Other days, we will probably be in the classroom and things like that. And how will band be done? Really good question. More than likely, on some of the smaller band classes, we can do it in the band room where they spread out. There is a chance they will meet in the auditorium and spread out a great deal. Once again, band, choir, things that where you project the virus, we are going to have to be even more careful than the other classes. Driver's ed, great question. That's probably going to require some input from the parents. We will have first 6 weeks is class. We will do that whether it's distance or in person. It is just like another class. When it gets time to drive, we will have to look at solutions, and some of it depends on how things are and what as a parent you are comfortable with. We would never do anything that would make a parent uncomfortable on that. So there are some options there. 504s will work the same way they always do. If a book in the question online, we will, if we have to, we will provide the copies and wherever she needs to be. We will certainly do everything we can to take care of IEPs, 504s. We shouldn't have any trouble at all about that. I mean, we will take care of whatever they need. Okay, that just changed. Let's see. Any restrictions on the mask? I mean, honestly, it should cover. There are better masks. Well, this one, sadly, as you probably are aware, I have a rather large head, and normal masks don't fit me perfectly. So I did find some extra large ones, but they need to cover the mouth and the nose. I don't know that there's any CDC guidelines for masks, to be honest. Strings, I was out there today or yesterday, and she already has her room spaced out. They can wear their mask and play. She has everyone spaced out, or the seats spaced out in her room, so like she's already been here, making sure she can have the class and it runs smoothly. So that shouldn't be a problem. Distance learning at the moment, 110 or so from here have signed up. They will probably extend your sign up till after the board meeting. I think they're going to. So you don't have to make a decision today, but it's probably going to be for everyone. I can't speak for how anyone else makes a decision other than us than here. The certificate for, okay, thank you, Mr. Evans. It's extended to August 5th. It's already been done. So you don't have to make a decision until August 5th. The reason we could not give a certificate last year for driver's ed, we gave grades. I think everyone passed. But the certificate is the driver's ed teacher confirming that you know how to drive, your child knows how to drive. If he did not see the child drive, there's no way he comfortably can do that. We may be able to work out a time where, well, once again, with the parent's permission and central office permission, we could figure out a way to drive them and make that up. Teachers will have in-service the week before school. It's one of the reasons they put off the start of school from the 7th to the 10th to give us at least one more day to do training on distance learning and in-person learning. Yes, Margie Wakiani rocks. I agree completely. Service hours, great question. Some of the things your child can do, depending on what happens, and there's no way I can sit here and tell you I know what's going to happen. They can't tell you on the news that no one seems to know. We may have to be flexible a little bit with service hours. I do not want any child putting themselves at any risk at any time. Now, there are things you can do from home. You can write letters to troops overseas. You can write thank you cards to first responders. You can make brownies and take them to the ambulance service. You can, you know, I would call ahead, but you could take food to the nurses on the ICU ward. Now, you can't, obviously they'll come out and get them. That's why you call ahead. But there are a lot of things you can do from home that get your service hours. The service hours is not from us. It is really for your child. I think it's extremely important, but at the same time, I know your child can't go volunteer at a 5K because there aren't any 5Ks. So it is going to make a difference. We will try to help you as much as we can for that. But tables that aren't movable like science labs, great question too. School theater, after school, well, that's not going to be possible for a little while. But in the science labs, we are currently looking, if you have an idea, we would love to have it. If you have a lot of money, we'd love to have it. We are looking for plexiglass dividers that we can separate the students at the lab tables, because yes, that is a problem that we have. You can't move a stationary table. So we are looking at some plexiglass dividers to help that situation. But what we're finding is, as in everything else, is they're extremely expensive. The shuttle from all bus service should still continue. That shouldn't be a problem. Senior thesis. We would like the students to continue working on their senior thesis. Once again, obviously working with a mentor is going to be a challenge, and we will try to take that on a case-by-case basis. Anyway, we will work with them on that. We know they're under enough stress without us giving too much more. Distance learning, I believe they're asking you to stay for 9 weeks. Then we can stay as long as we can do this. But the virtual student experience, great question. What we're going to ask the teachers to do is take themselves giving their lecture. And as you realize, most of a class is not lecture or anything like that, but the operation of the class. But the students will be participating in class. They will be able to hear it. If we do small groups, they can log in and do it with, on Teams or Zoom and be part of that small group. We want them to feel like they are part of the class. We do ask for your patience and grace. This is going to be a learning experience for all of us. So we, well, let's see. Got none. Yeah, I can say that's a problem on community service. Does Central will have once a week to PE? Don't know that one. In the afternoon, we would like for your child to be off campus as soon as they can. But once again, the biggest thing is that they need to socially distance themselves. If your child wants to stay safe in school, if you want to stay safe in the world, stay away from people. Keep that distance. If you're in Kroger and there's a group of people with no mask, don't go near them. Take some responsibility on this. But yes, we do expect children to have the mask on from the time they walk in until they walk out. Now, we will ask the teachers to have a place in their room or perhaps out in the hall. If they don't, it depends on the room. Some teachers' rooms are massive and there's plenty of places to distance. Other rooms are a little bit smaller. But we will have a situation where they can take a mask break for a second, go to that corner completely away from everyone and take a mask break. Also, obviously, when they go to the restroom, our restrooms have, instead of having stalls, they have rooms. It is a good situation to take that mask off for a minute and breathe. Because they are hot during the day. I agree with that. They're not a lot of fun, but that's not an option. I mean, that's not a choice. How will lab work for distance learners? We are still working on that. We have a couple of different solutions. If everyone is distance learning, it will be a different solution than if some of you are. It may be with the parent, that they bring the child in during an off time to do lunch, to do labs. But we also will be doing some demonstration labs. That is a weakness. How will the teacher simultaneously be teaching the online students and the in-class ones? The way I would do it as a teacher is I would have a student reading these questions, much like the supplement's doing it here, and making sure I know that a child is contacting me. And, child raises their hand in the class, we answer their question. Child dings in on the computer, we'll answer their question. So it should work very similar. We are not doing club rotations to start the school year, so distance learners will not be out on that. To have the 5th lunch, that time had to come from somewhere, and we took it out of advisory and club time. We will be doing some virtual advisories where we take the lessons, study skills, things like that. But we didn't want to take time out of math, so we took it out of club time. Let's see, these are moving faster than I can read. Will students be allowed to go to the library to stay home? The library will not be open before or after school. Students, as I said, will check out books virtually. They're planning a way to deliver them. So we do not have the person asking about art, music, that sort of thing. That stops in elementary school. They have related arts in elementary school. In middle school, they have you take classes. So it is different there. We do have one rotation that rotates every 9 weeks. But anyway, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Holzman. The county has a handbook, and we will be releasing theirs as soon as it's approved. I sent it in this week, and as soon as we get it back, it will be on the website. But it lists all of these things with bullet points, and should help everybody. The things I realize I went very fast. There's a lot of information here, but the county is already released the step-by-step on what happens, really on everything. It's very well thought out and documented. What happens if a case happens? What happens if this? So anyway, bowling. At the moment, we are not allowed to compete against other people by Rutherford County rule. We are not allowed to take field trips. So unless that changes, that's what we will do. So anyway, your schedules are online. You should be able to see your child's schedule in Skyward. So if you can't, if you will email me, I will have Skyward send you another email about setting up your account. So anyway, classes, the teacher part will be recorded. We are going to be very careful about recording the students, but we will be recording the teacher part. And the thing I like about it is even the students who are in person. When my personal child was here and had AP chemistry, she used to go back and watch certain presentations again and again and again. Anyway, yeah, Teams has a raise your hand feature. That would be very useful. Lab, again, we will probably do some demonstration labs, and we are still working on that. The mentoring program, we will probably have to hold off a little bit until things settle down a little bit. Lunch time for distance workers or distant learners. You are going to have work all day. Your child is not going to sit and stare at a computer for 7 hours a day. So yes, they will be able to watch some videos, do some work. There's a program called Place. That was a good decision by the central office to make it easier on your child to find everything. So yes, as far as being notified, that went by and I didn't get to read the whole question, but that is in the county on the county website. So I really do encourage you to read that. The first 2-hour day at the moment is the 10th of August. So yeah, school routines for the Sixth grade teachers do a great job of walking the students around, showing them everything with social distance. We will still be doing that, but ninth grade, they will have to come ask. I will be glad to show your child around the next couple of weeks. I've already done that for a few students. I will do anything I can. Pep rallies are not going to happen until this gets a little better. So, I mean, we can't put that many people crammed together in the gym. Yes, that is not a great solution. It's not, but that's it. Exams, they are going to be online. We're still figuring a way out. AP did it. We ought to be able to do it. There is not a school map for a lot of reasons. We really don't want that information in total public for people who are not part of the school. But once, if you'll make sure I'm here, but if you'll bring your child in, I will be glad to give them a personal tour, show them around, answer any questions they have. We will work on that. And yes, a traditional student can access the distance learning content. I think in the long run, we're going to like a lot of this stuff and keep it even after we get back full time. Yes, if any problem you ever have, if you'll email me, I'll get right back to you and we'll try to fix it. To get some help from central office, we were having some trouble on the emails, but they helped me, and I hope we have that worked out a little bit. But we want you to get emails. It is not something we're doing to mess with you. Honestly, I don't have a clue. You can tell me how to fix it, and I will attempt to fix it. But no, it's above my intelligence. Let's see. Distance learning student wellness classes. Yes, it is a required class. Part of wellness is health, and they will do that online, just like math or anything else. They will be given some assignments, be some honor in whether they do it or not. But we will be giving them some assignments as far as walking and things like that. Yes, they can watch. I appreciate the comment. The PTO has started working. I've had several parents contact us. The county has done a really good job, as I said, of supplying us and the plans to supply us more things, but it is extremely expensive. We have bought, as a school, 4 extra tables for the outdoor. They were a fortune. We have bought face masks. We're a little worried about teachers, students not being able to see their lips when they talk. So we have bought face masks for all the teachers. They will maintain a distance when they're wearing them, but we will. It's getting expensive. Right now, we're looking at that polyurethane to separate in the science labs. We're looking at it for some other places. It is getting expensive. So I don't like to beg for money or anything, but the PTO does have plans to do their invest in a brighter future, and we do plan to set aside some COVID money. This is going to really be expensive times. I think our school board has done a good job of finding money. The hand sanitizer for the classrooms is like $60,000 a month for the whole county, not just Central, but the whole county. That's a lot of money. There are side effects to this, but your child's health is the most important thing we do. We really want to keep everybody safe. I mean, that's always our primary thing. Yes, teachers would appreciate any supplies, like always. If you can find Clorox wipes, you're a better person than I am. They seem to have left the face of the earth. But I'm sorry, seniors, the senior cafeteria will not hold all the seniors because we got to socially space them. So that is a problem. I agree with you. KIDM is one of the programs we use. We have permission this year to use Zoom as well as Teams. And of course, there are a lot of other programs we buy normally, turnitin.com, Albert.io. We buy that as a school. CERT to get ready for the ACT. That is an important point. Well, Seniors, you will take the ACT September. You'll take the first one in September. That is yours from the spring that we didn't get to give. That everybody said they won't shut down schools until after the ACT. Well, you were wrong. Then you will turn around in October, right? What? Okay, December, and take it again because the state buys 2 for you. So you will. So you ought to be prepping for the ACT right now. So please get with it. But CERT is available for them. Is Central Internet bandwidth robust enough for several distance learning? We certainly hope so. We think so. Our internet was upgraded last year. If everyone is distance learning, it will probably will be okay. We think it's going to be great. We know it's going to work. I think the odds are probably decent that next week we will do distance learning to start the school. But that's not my decision. If you have a strong opinion about anything, contact the school board member. There, 7 of them. Gotta have 4 to agree. Yeah, if you put COVID supplies, and anytime you want to donate money to the school, if you put a letter with it that designates where you want it to be spent, by law, we have to spend it for that. So, let's see. Thank you. Yes, that is a great question. If your child is quarantined, for example, your child is exposed, they're quarantined, they can go home and go on distance learning and come right back when they're cleared. They do not have to stay out 9 weeks. The good thing about this, honestly, if your child comes down with the flu and they feel good enough to do it, they can take advantage of this distance learning. So it is a great way, I think, for a child absent to stay caught up if they feel like it. Don't make your child, if they have 103 temperature, don't make them watch Mr. Brooks. But anyway, so, and what will the first day look for a freshman? Great question. We are planning that right now. Believe it or not, we are meeting, Ms. Huffman, myself, some of the leadership team. We meet almost every day, and we are planning what's the best and most effective ways to do things and keep everyone safe. Tuesday night's vote makes a big difference for us. How we're doing things. Obviously, the first day will be a lot different if you're not at school. So we are sort of waiting to after that to plan the first couple of days of school. Just don't want to spend all that time. But whatever, all these safety precautions that we put hours into will be used at some point this year. You are not going to be distance learning forever. I certainly hope not. Can't swear to it. Once again, don't know everything. But we certainly hope we will have students walking up and down the halls again. This school, it's a beautiful old school. It's not nearly as much fun without students here. It's been a rough several months. I know it has on you too, but we miss your children. So we want them back, but we want them back safely. And we want them back where their parents and grandparents are safe. I keep hearing that, if a teenager gets it, it's no big deal. I'm not that kind of doctor. I'm not going to make that statement. But for their grandparents, it is a big deal. My biggest fear in life is that I give it to my in-laws. I have a father-in-law and mother-in-law who are in their mid-70s, not necessarily perfect health. I don't know how I would feel if I gave it to them. So when I wear my mask in Walmart or Kroger or whatever, I don't think it would kill me at night. I make me wish I was dead from talking to people who've had it. But I don't want to give it to my in-laws. And I don't want, a friend of mine has it. His daughter brought it home to him. If something, he's going to be fine. But if something had happened to him, that little girl, she's old enough to know she gave it to her dad and it didn't go well. So we really want everyone to be safe in this. And some decisions aren't always popular, but they got to be made. And that's why people get the big bucks to make them. But yes, if we have school with kids here, you will need to bring in your meds to the nurse, an EpiPen or whatever you normally bring in. And it's moving again. If they play local sports, that's on a case-by-case basis. You have to prove how much effort, how much time they put in outside of school. The only few times I've ever seen that approved was gymnastics or something where they are truly intense about the number of hours they put in. Traditionally, anytime a student is out with a teacher note or a parent note, you get 10 or 7 now parent notes. If you bring a doctor's note in, it's excused absence. So the attendance won't really change because they really don't have to. If a child's sick, it's excused and don't worry too much about it. If you'll email us, we will set up a time you can come in and pick up a device for distance learning. Okay. It should not be harder for distance learners. I mean, our goal is to treat everybody equally and fairly. So it shouldn't be. They can use their laptops to carry it from class to class, or use their laptops, use their backpacks. It's getting late. I haven't been here this late often. Anyway, the ACT, yeah, we will obviously give everyone the ACT. So we will make that work. And I have a question about the PSAT, but yeah. Seems like, yes, there will be social markers throughout the school. We have a parent that has been kind enough to give us a really good deal on some printing, and there will be things in the halls, in the cafeteria lines 6 feet apart. Bringing your kids lunch is not a bad idea, but anyway, we will have signage, a lot of it everywhere. So we will. Chinese, the only Chinese class we'll be able to offer this year is Chinese 2, and the reason, and that will be that will truly be distance learning, even if your child is in the building, because, well, I can explain that to you all fair sometime, but that was nothing Rutherford County Schools did or Central did. It was more of a federal issue. Chinese 2, they will be able to finish out their foreign language requirement, but the rest of them won't. There are some courses online outside of school you could take, but we'd be glad to try to help you with that. But I mean, we just can't do it anymore. The teachers through the program, and anyway, if that's it, I see nothing else. I really appreciate you coming tonight. The biggest thing, once again, is that you talk your students into helping us, maintaining that social distance, wearing that mask. There will be opportunities for them to take it off for a second and breathe a little bit. I probably would send 2 by the end of the day. Mine's not as fun to wear as it was at the beginning of the day. We will do everything in our power always to keep your child safe, as well as give them a great education. If we distance learn, it will be the greatest education ever given by a distance learning student. If we do it, we're going to do it well. Now, our motto is always my best, and we expect every teacher and every student to give their best in everything they do this year, whether it's from 1 mile, 1 foot, well, it wouldn't be 1 foot, it'd be distant 6 feet, or 100 miles. I mean, we are going to work very hard to ensure your child getting a great education. You can do your part out in public, try to get this to slow down a little bit. But if you have any other questions, you can reach me through email or whatever you want to do. Once again, if you have a new student, 6th grade or something like that, feel free to come up here. I'm here every day. We have meetings occasionally, but if you'll call, I'll make sure I'm free, or one of my assistant principals we'll be glad to show you around the building, try to help any way we can. But thank you for everything you do. Thank you for our support. And like I said, it's going to be a great year at Central because we would have it no other way. Thank you, and if you need anything, just email me.